I'm too intimidated to go to the gym. That's one of the things you hear people say a lot, and it's something that I even had an aunt of mine many years ago who was morbidly obese say. And she said to myself and another aunt of mine who actually competes in powerlifting, and she told us, I'm too intimidated to go to a gym because there's all these people in shape. And, here's what I would say to the people who have that mentality. I would say that that is literally the worst excuse you could possibly have. And I'm going to make that point for a reason. Because what you find in general, the more in shape a person is, the more hardcore that they are, the more tolerant and accepting they are of people who are showing up. Okay, that's something that you need to remember. If you go to like the little silliest goofy box gyms full of 19-year-old boys, that might be an explanation because they might be silly and they might poke fun of someone who's a little overweight. You might feel intimidated, right? But it's the idea of it. It's not the fact that you've ever experienced it that makes you feel that way. Now, if you've gone to those sort of gyms, you might. But it's the fact that you have probably never set foot into a gym where people are really serious about their training. Because if you had ever done that at any point in your life and you feel intimidated to go to a gym, you didn't get that from that experience. And here's what I would say to the majority of people out there who say, I really am serious about getting into shape, but I'm intimidated to go to the gym. I want you to ask yourself if that's really what's going on. Because if you honestly can tell me that you really and truly do want to get in shape, but you're just so embarrassed about how out of shape you are, or how fat you are, or how weak you are, or how lack of flexible and lack of mobility and everything else that you have, that's actually what's preventing you from joining, but you really and truly do want to, then I'm going to say that you need to actually go find the gym full of the most in shape people you can possibly find. You need to completely avoid those silly little box gyms. You need to avoid the gyms where there's a bunch of 19-year-old skinny kids with abs flexing in the mirror. And here's why I'm going to say that. Because that is probably the only environment where your fear is a reality. That's probably the only environment where anyone is actually going to laugh at you behind your back. In fact, at most of the hardcore gyms, there are rules against that stuff. Like you're going to find that the more serious a gym is, and if the actual owners and management are themselves competitors of some type, you're going to find that they have actually rules against that sort of stuff at their gym. What you're also going to find is that the people there are going to be supportive and encouraging. Because I can tell you, if you walk into a hardcore powerlifting gym or a hardcore strength gym, or hell, even a bodybuilding gym, and I hate to say it, I'm not a fan of those, but if you walk into any of those environments, you're going to find that most of the people really and truly are passionate about training. Right? They're passionate. This is their passion. And when I say passionate about it, those are people who are willing to welcome you kind of into their family. Right? People who are really serious lifters are supportive and encouraging, and they will give you free knowledge and information and help just because of the fact that you show up. Okay? You're going to find that those sort of people, the people like us who really lift and are serious about lifting, we're supportive. We actually want to help you reach your goals. In fact, here's going to be the reason not to join a gym like that. It's not because you're intimidated. It's because you don't actually want to reach your goals. Because if you join a gym like that, you're absolutely going to reach your goals because everyone there is going to encourage you. Once you become a regular at a gym like that, the other members who get to know you are going to start holding you accountable. Man, they're going to actually expect you to show up. They're going to demand that you put in work. They're going to encourage you. So there's going to be a degree of accountability. There's going to be a degree of social support. It's going to tend to be the norm in those environments. And you're going to find people who probably actually know how to train, people who actually know how to eat to lose body fat. And a lot of them are going to give you free advice. Do you know why? They're going to give it to you just because they want everyone to reach their goals, because they're passionate. And what you need to remember is that every single person who's crushing powerlifting records or winning anything in any competitive environment, every single champion that you know may have very well started where you are. Right? They might have started as bad off as you are, and now they're a champion. So the only excuse not to go to a really serious gym is because you literally do not want the results. You're afraid to put in any work because you're afraid that people there are going to encourage you and you might actually achieve something. And I would say to a person who's using that as an excuse now that they know that, you're not intimidated. You deep down don't believe that you deserve to lose the body fat. You believe on some level that you're supposed to be fat, that you deserve to be fat. You probably believe that you're a bad person. Because that's honestly how most people get fat. I gained 100 pounds of fat when I was sick and in bed. I spent 10 months in bed before I got back into powerlifting. I got really, really sick. I'm not going to get my whole backstory here, but do you know what? I got depressed when I got sick. And when you get depressed and you think that life has no meaning because you got sick and whatever else and you give up, you just kind of give up and you allow food and things to be your comfort. And on a certain level, you just don't believe that you deserve to live or to be healthy or anything else. That's what causes you to become fat and out of shape to begin with. It's because on some level you believe that you deserve that. Right? And when you change your attitude, with it comes the ability to make the physical change. And so I would say to these people who say they're intimidated to go to a gym because people are going to laugh at them, then don't go to the fluffy wuffy type gym. Right? Don't go to the little silly goofy 24-hour fitness. You know, some of them are actually pretty hardcore too. Believe it or not, some of them, go check out the environment first. I would say go in there and look and see how many really jacked or strong people are in there. Look and see if it's got a functional fitness area with 6 or 7 racks in it. And people using them. And a regular crowd. And don't go in during the peak times. You know what you're going to find in some of those gyms? When you go to the really well-equipped box gyms like that, like the 24s and things that are really have a lot of equipment, they're good ones, not the crappy ones. You're going to find you're going to get a bunch of former competitive athletes, and you'll get some power lifters and retired athletes and stuff, and people who are serious, who are middle-aged, are going to come in early in the mornings. That 4 a.m., that 5 a.m., that 6 a.m. crowd. You're going to find encouragement and help. Those are people who are going to come over and help you with your form on lifts. Those are people who are going to offer to spot you. Those are people who are going to give you free, encouraging advice, and they're not going to judge you at all. Right? The only time you're at risk of judgment is when you go in during the peak times. If you're really, really fat, and you go in during the peak times when it's all 19-year-old boys all flexing in the mirror at 7 o'clock in the evening, all right, fine, that's a real concern. But the more serious of a gym you go to, the more likely you are to find 30 and 40-year-old people who are bigger and stronger and more fit than that 19-year-old crowd, who put them to shame. And you're going to find those people are not going to be judgmental. Those people are going to welcome you. And if you actually approach them and ask them for help and advice, they will give you that help without hesitation, without judgment, and they will encourage you. So let's be honest here. Now that you know that, if you're one of those people who say, yeah, I'm intimidated to go to a gym full of in-shape people, now that I just told you that, I told you what sort of gyms to look for. You want those dungeon gyms, those black iron gyms. You want the gyms where you go in there and everybody is really ridiculously in shape or strong. That's the gym you want to go to, because they're not judgmental and everybody encourages everyone else, and you're going to have a knowledge base of people who can help you reach levels that you never dreamed possible when you decided you wanted to get fit. Instead of going to these silly ass gyms where no one even knows how to help you, or no one really knows what they're doing other than do curls in the mirror. Full of silly ass kids. All right, we'll avoid that environment. Go to a real gym. Go to a gym with real lifters. Go to a gym with real lifters where they squat and they deadlift and everybody is strong. You do that and you actually just show up regularly and try to train. people are going to take you under their wing and they're going to treat you like family. Because that's what real lifting is about. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.